Hey guys, hope you are all having a great day. Today we finally got to see how GameStop performed during the fourth quarter of 2021 and I am super happy about the results. We have quite a bit to go over today, but before we start, let me quickly state that I am not a financial advisor, and that all content discussed in this channel is simply information gathered that I deem important for people to know, so that they can make informed decisions. All efforts are aimed to better understand the nature of the current market in anticipation of the greatest squeeze in financial history. Let's dive right in. The fourth quarter results that GameStop posted is fairly direct, so I am going to be directly reading off of what they had to show. The giant video game retailer and future NFT marketplace generated net sales of $2.25 billion for the quarter, which is higher than the quarter of 2020 when they generated $2.122 billion and slightly below the fourth quarter of 2019 when they generated $2.19 billion. GameStop established new and expanded brand relationships, including with PC gaming companies such as Alienware, Corsair and Lenovo, that contributed to sales growth in the quarter. In fact, PC gaming sales were up 150% this quarter. They also grew PowerUp Rewards Pro members by 32% on a year-over-year basis, taking total membership to approximately 5.8 million. As you may know by now, GameStop entered into a partnership with Immutable X that is intended to support the development of GameStop's NFT marketplace and provide the company with up to $150 million in IMX tokens upon achievement of certain milestones. GameStop redesigned their app, which now includes an enhanced user interface, improved scalability for a larger product catalog and more functionality to support exclusive offers and promotions. They hired dozens of additional individuals with experience in areas such as blockchain gaming, e-commerce and technology, product refurbishment and operations. Now, taking a step back to overview the performance for the entire year, GameStop generated net sales of $6.01 billion for the fiscal year, compared to $5.09 billion for fiscal year 2020. They made significant and long-term investments in the company's fulfillment network, systems and teams while also establishing new offices in Seattle, Washington and Boston, Massachusetts, which are technology hubs with established talent markets. GameStop expanded the product catalog to include a broader set of consumer electronics, PC gaming equipment and refurbished hardware. The company ended up raising more than $1.67 billion in capital and eliminated all of the company's long-term debt, other than a $44.6 million low-interest, unsecured term loan associated with the French government's response to the pandemic. It ended the fiscal year with $1.271 billion in cash and cash equivalents and $915 million in inventory, compared to $635 million in cash and $602.5 million in inventory at the end of fiscal year 2020. Increased investments in inventory reflect the company's focus on meeting heightened demand and mitigating supply chain headwinds. An important thing to note is that GameStop reported that over 3 million shares were DRS in 3 months. Keep in mind that this DRS count does not represent the growth in DRS GameStop shares since the end of January. I saw a couple posts with some estimates showing that close to 30% of the entire float has been locked in. The collective effort by the millions of GameStop shareholders to transfer their shares to ComputerShare is starting to grow significantly. As you guys can see, companies are flocking in to form partnerships with GameStop. Their NFT marketplace is set to launch at some time around the end of the second quarter of this year. GameStop had a very solid performance on their fourth quarter and I am super enthusiastic about its future. Before the earnings call began, shorters were heavily attacking GameStop. They managed to dip the price from $89 to $75.51 in 2 minutes, which is absolutely insane. The SEC continues to ignore what is happening too. Funny enough, AMC also dropped at the exact same time GME did, and so did shares of Bed Bath & Beyond. This implies the same thing we have been saying for months: they're using the same algorithm to manipulate and short meme stocks. It doesn't take a scientist to notice this, but apparently SEC employees are too busy to look and pay attention to the elephant in the room. Let's talk about the market in general. US stocks rallied for the third day in a row, with the S&P 500 climbing up 1.2%, the Dow Jones Industrial Average rising 1.2% as well, and the Nasdaq advancing 1.3%. Investors warmed up to the Fed's long-anticipated interest rate hike, for reasons that I don't want to spend a full hour explaining but that are so obvious even the smoothest-brained ape could figure out. St. Patrick's Day tends to be one of the more green days of the year for stocks historically speaking, so I am sure the psychological anticipation of this made people more bullish than bearish. adding to the overall rally we enjoyed today. The stock market is behaving incredibly odd. I have been speaking with many sources, people I confide in and whose expertise and opinions I value and trust, and everyone has the same question mark on their head as we all do. Interest hikes tend to cause stocks to drop, but that is not what we have seen, so why is this? Well, there are multiple reasons that I have brainstormed as to why this is. To begin with, everyone knows that stocks are severely oversold. The war in Ukraine has devastated stocks around the world. As such, investors are looking to anything bullish to grab onto. Though historically speaking, rate hikes tend to be followed by bearish trading sessions, because investors now fully understand how bad inflation is eating up the economy. There is reason to believe that everyone is bullish that the Fed is finally doing something to fight it directly. The rate hike of a quarter point also aligned with the expectations of investors, which means it was mostly priced in already. Powell made some serious remarks saying that he believes the economy is strong enough to withstand further monetary restrictive policies, which gives investors the impression that the economy, though suffering from inflation, is not fully collapsed, and that there is plenty of room to grow, which leads people to hit the buy button. Right now, we have to see how we continue to perform and if the situation in Ukraine improves, stagnates or deteriorates. All eyes are carefully watching the prices on the energy sector as that will greatly affect inflation levels on the next report. Stay zen. This is a difficult period, but things are now finally beginning to ease up a little bit. Let's now talk about today. The Fed submitted over $1.659 trillion in reverse repo operations today. Dark pool trades for AMC accounted for 50% of the total volume today, while dark pool trades for GameStop accounted for 55% of the total volume today. AMC had a larger amount of buy orders than sell orders, with GameStop also having a larger amount of buy orders than sell orders. Now, let's talk about performance. AMC had a bearish day, losing under 1%. It began trading relatively neutral during the pre-market. Upon market opening, AMC began to aggressively move up, easily breaking resistance walls and eventually surpassing 15.60. After this run, AMC began breaking support, falling beneath the VWAP. It would bounce up above it again, but shorters would easily bleed it out until it broke below it, this time falling to the lower band at 15. It would bounce a bit, closing at 15.19, below the VWAP. In the after hours, AMC would dip below to 14.66 as shorters began to manipulate the stock as the earnings report came out. AMC will find support at 14.80, 14.40 and 14. Resistance will be met at 15.20, 15.45 and 16. GameStop had a bullish day, gaining under 1%. It opened to a volatile session that had it run from 84 to 87 and then back down to 84. GME would then begin running up as anticipation mounted, eventually crossing past $89. After that run, shorters would begin bleeding it out, having it fall and close at 87.70, above the VWAP. In the after hours, it rapidly climbed above 89 until shorters implemented an attack that dropped the stop to 75.51 in less than 2 minutes. It would begin climbing a bit, but there is a lot of weakness now on GME, so I think we could revisit 75 again. The GameStop earnings report showed a lot of improvement. Obviously, it is not where I would like them to be, and the report was far from stellar. As much as I love GameStop, I think they too have much room for growth and perform. I think that they have been investing so much that in their own company and its future that obviously it will be hard to show some serious profitable numbers yet, which is totally understandable. They are running the company perfectly fine in my opinion. I am looking forward for improvement, growth and the launch of their NFT marketplace with great anticipation. I am in no hurry to have GME produce a crazy stellar earnings report. I will buy paste and patiently and continue to DRS my shares on ComputerShare. One thing I have begun noticing from the GameStop shareholders who are desperate for the squeeze is that they are beginning to beg for GameStop to issue dividends. Looking at their sheets, I don't think they are in the best position to begin issuing dividends yet. I would rather they continue to work on turning the company into something much greater than it ever was. Remember that longevity and value is what is on the minds of executives. The squeeze will come when it does, and that they are still in a position where much improvement is yet to be made. Be patient. This is not a rush stock to get rich quick. This is a long-term play that will bring value to those willing to commit to wait. GameStop in my eyes is performing really well, as is AMC, and this earnings report showed much improvement in a lot of areas. Stay bullish, stay even more zen and hold. And that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you all so very much for making it to the end of the video. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And most importantly, remember to come join my Discord. If you want to support this channel, I have a Patreon link in the description as well as some one-time donation links for Cash App and PayPal. Thank you again for being a part of this channel. I will continue striving for better content. Enjoy the rest of your day. Keep on buying the dip and to the moon.